Kamala Harris came out with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you? It's a tax credit specifically that we're talking about today.
Yes.
Why don't you brief the listeners?
Well, so I'm a
Bruenigs.
tax credit connoisseur.
That's true. That's true.
I love tax credits. I love
tax credits are to Matt what craft beers are to most of the lads his age.
everything welfare state and welfare state adjacent. I just love it. It's they're I mean not that it's all good, but it's fascinating. She puts out a new credit called the LIFT credit.
LYFT.
There's some sort of acronym there. I think livable incomes for families today or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to discuss this perfectly well verbally, but I'll do my best. So the way the LIFT credit works is, for every dollar you earn, it's going to match you
All right.
dollar for dollar
I'll
until
take
you
that.
get up to $3,000 if you're single, or $6,000 if you are married.
Yeah.
Right. So you imagine if you earned $1,500 last year, you get a $1,500 credit. The government kicks in another $1,500. If you earned $3,000, you get $3,000. If you earn $10,000, you only get $3,000 because remember, $3,000 is the cap.
That's the cap. That's the top.
And once you get over a certain level of income, then it goes away and you start losing the credit.
Yeah.
And so if you think about this graphically, and I have this on peoplespolicyproject.org if you want to go to the website, the benefit phases in.
Okay. So unpack that a bit.
Yeah, so if you make $0, you don't get any benefit.
What?
If you make $1, you get $1 benefit.
But if I make $0, I need the benefit more than anyone.
Yes, this is the problem. This is really the key problem. But as you can see, $0 you don't get anything. $10 you get 10. $100 you get 100, et cetera, right? All the way up until you hit the cap. So there's a phase in.
Yeah.
Some people call it a ramp.
Yeah.
I guess. And then it plateaus for a while. You've hit the max and you're just kind of sitting on the max. And then it phases out. So there's kind of an off ramp at the end. And so if you kind of do it, that's a trapezoid shape. Yeah. It goes up in a ramp shape, then it goes flat, and then it goes down in a ramp shape. So it's a trapezoid.
That's a good call. It is a trapezoid.
So I call them trapezoid programs.
Oh, all right.
Because the LIFT is certainly not the first trapezoid program. We have on the books right now 2 other trapezoid programs, big ones. There are some others that are arguably trapezoids, but these are the big dogs. And that is the child tax credit. It's the same situation. If you graph it, if you make $0, you don't get any child tax credit. Yeah. Which seems weird because, I don't know, if you're making $0, maybe you need more money to help with your kids who are going to starve to death.
Yeah.
But that's not how it's set up. You have to make a certain amount of money, and then you get benefits, and then you hit this cap and so on. And then you have the earned income tax credit, which again is the same thing. The more money you make, the more benefit you get until you reach this little plateau, and then it goes down, right? And the nature of these trapezoids is, like you said, if you don't make any money, you don't get any benefit.
So the less money you make, the less of a benefit you're getting.
Exactly.
For the phase in.
Right. Up to a point, right? The basic way to think about it is, at first, the more money you make, the more money you get in benefits, which is backwards, kind of.
Which is
right?
backwards, yeah.
You think about it.
That's hard. And also, I mean, even the fact that if you're making a little bit more, you start to lose the benefit is often a cause of hustling backwards.
Well, yes. Once you get on the other side of the plateau, right? So if you start from the beginning, the more money you make, the more money you get from the benefit.
Yeah.
Then you hit this plateau where the more money you make, it doesn't affect your benefit.
Yeah.
And then you get on the downside of the ramp, and then the more money you make, the less benefit you get.
So you've had this level of income, then you nudge just over the top and start making a little bit more, and you possibly lose more than you've gained in your race.
Well, yeah. Well, in none of these programs does the what they call effective marginal tax rate exceed 100%. But maybe in concert with other benefits, it gets very complicated.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
what if you hit the Medicaid cutoff at the same point at which you're on the downswing of one of these programs?
Yeah.
Then what does that look like?
And
That could be
it
pretty
actually causes a huge amount of trouble and
No.
stress for quite a few poor families. This is a documented
bad. Yeah, they call
phenomenon.
benefit traps.
Awful shit. But then the phase in is also terrible because the less you're making, the less.
Right. And I wrote a piece where, one, obviously I said, this is not a good idea. What are we doing here? But
So what is the idea of the phase in? Is that you're going to motivate these people?
yes. And so the origin of these programs, it coincides with our good friend welfare reform.
Oh God, Matt's true enemy, arch nemesis.
I see welfare reform everywhere in my life. Everything is welfare reform.
It's like the Kill Bill scene where you see something that's reminiscent of welfare reform, and there's just a siren going off.
It's
in your
just
mind.
all welfare
Everything
reform today.
turns red.
It's all welfare reform. Job guarantee and like
Points at
welfare
Siegel.
reform.
That's welfare reform.
EITC.
Democrats through tears. You can't just call everything welfare reform.
I can. Welfare reform. Welfare reform. Welfare reform.
Everything is welfare reform.
Yeah.
So, but this really is a legacy of welfare reform.
Yes. So, in the 1990s, Bill Clinton decides to, end welfare as we know it. And what happens is they basically cut off basic cash assistance to like really poor people. People
Right.
who are maybe earning nothing or maybe earning, $1,000 or something. They just get completely cut off.
Yeah.
There's this new program called TANF that replaces the old AFDC, but TANF might as well not exist. It's a complete joke. It's almost impossible to
Zombie.
get. It's
Yeah.
nonsense. And so basically that's gone. And in its place, they put these trapezoid programs.
Yeah.
And the trapezoid programs deprives the poor. So they take the poor's benefits, and then they also create these new programs that's going to specifically deprive them. And that becomes sort of like the new regime. So one way of putting it is they shift benefits from the very poor to the merely poor and the nearly poor,
Yeah.
right? So there's a shift that occurs from basically the lowest rung of society to the people just above the lowest rung.
Yeah.
And the result of this is deep poverty goes up. Of course, that's the result of it, right? Anyone who just does the math on it is going to realize
And this is a measured result of welfare reform.
Yes. I cite Robert Moffat in my piece, but there are a number of other studies that have found basically the same thing. But it's tricky. It's kind of a weird situation because when we think about poverty, we usually calculate it in terms of like we just add up the number of people in poverty.
Yeah.
Right. And the problem with that is if you do that, then these trapezoid programs can be shown to be very effective because they concentrate their benefits on people right around the poverty line.
Yeah.
So if you give someone who's only $100 below the poverty line, if you give them $100, you can pop them over the line. Right. And then you're like, wow, I reduced poverty.
Look at
It only costs $100 too.
Yeah.
If you give $100 to someone who's way below the poverty line, it doesn't reduce poverty as measured.
Right.
Because they're still poor.
They're still under the poverty line.
And so that gets very, very deceptive very, very quickly because you're like, look, we reduced poverty because, look, more people are over the line than used to be. And it's like, yeah, you took the people who are right below the line and you moved a lot of them over it. And then you just completely dropped the really poor into the abyss.
Yeah.
And those people, you didn't ever used to pull them all the way out of poverty, but you made their lives a lot better.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you go from having $2,000 a year to $12,000 a year, you might not be over the poverty line, but you now have $10,000 more to spend.
Right.
Which is a big
It's
improvement.
a big improvement.
And so, but it just muddies the discourse so much because then you have people who do these estimates and like, oh, it's just going to cut poverty a lot. It's going to cut poverty a lot. And it's like, yeah, if you basically don't give money to the poorest people and only give it to those right around the poverty line, you're going to get a really nice,
a big bump. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's empty, right? The goal is not to game this measurement. The goal
Right.
is to end material deprivation.
Right. And so that's going to require looking at people who are way below the poverty line.
Yes, you got to get it money to them.
$2 a day, deep poverty.
And, conventionally, when people say, well, why did this happen? Why did we shift like this? There's a story that basically says, hey, the 80s and 90s, very reactionary. You got the neoliberal turn. People hate welfare. People, there's a racial element to
Big
it
time.
and so on. And so, if you kind of take that seriously, then it's like, well, people don't want to give to the undeserving poor who
That's what it is.
who don't even work or try.
Yeah. Welfare queens, single moms,
but
the most hated people in society.
We do want to give money to people who are trying it. I mean, like, at least you go out and work, even though you don't make any money doing it.
Yeah.
Then we'll help you. And so
Yeah.
these programs, they fit very neatly into that idea because they concentrate their benefits basically on low wage workers who do put in a lot of hours but just don't make any money doing it.
Yeah.
And they exclude the people who, basically are not working or are working very, very little.
Yeah.
And so that fits very neatly. But then there's this other theory that's floated out there that's like, no, it's not anti-welfare. It's not racism. It's not that. It's just like basically in this period, because you have the neoliberal turn, people want to cut spending. They want to cut taxes. And the great thing about these tax credit trapezoids is they're not counted as spending.
Yeah.
They're counted as tax cuts. And so you get the best of both worlds, except, of course, the poor starve and die.
Yeah, except for the poor who do not receive the best of both worlds. You should call this the trapezoid trap.
Yeah, it is definitely a trapezoid trap.
Trapezoid trap.
That'd
Miss
be a
the
good
trap. Beat the trap. Beat the trap. Escape from the trapezoid trap is what's going to be your slogan.
And the interesting thing about it is she's not the only one. Like, this is actually still the main thing Democrats turn to.
Yeah.
So, or not even just Democrats, but like generally, when it's like, what can we do a policy that's going to help, raise the incomes of the middle class or the lower middle class? Or it's always trapezoids.
Always trapezoids.
So like Rubio and Lee's
child tax
second
credit.
child tax credit, because they were going to have two. They were just going to create a new one on top of the old one, is a trapezoid.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, during the last campaign, she proposed a child tax credit reform that just, again, trapezoid. More recently, you have Ro Khanna and Sherrod Brown have an earned income tax credit reform, trapezoid. And then you have Kamala Harris, trapezoid. They're all just trapezoids. Yeah. It's all the same policy that are all getting different words. And it's all just like, what if we just did another trapezoid?
Fall into the trap.
And it's funny. One other thing that's funny about it is, to me, is it's like all these people, like they put their own names on it and so on. Like it's all positioned as like, here's a new policy idea. And it's like, no, everyone literally has the same policy idea, which is let's do another trapezoid. But I mean, the details are a little bit different, but it's the basic same gist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the debate is so constrained that all welfare state expansion debate right now is which trapezoid do you want to go for?
We'll do a slightly steeper trapezoid.
Let's do let's make the trapezoid, instead of matching 100%. What if it matched 105%?
Woo!
But there is one alternative.
What's that? What's that, Matt?
And
how do we escape the trap?
Michael Bennett and Sherrod Brown have a child allowance proposal.
Oh.
Where every, for every child you have under the age of 5, you'll get $3,600 a year. And for every kid over the age of 5, you'll get $3,000. And there's no phase-in. No phase-in.
It's a universal program.
It's not a trapezoid. Theirs does phase out. I'm not fond of that, but it doesn't phase in.
The phase out's better than the phase in.
The phase out is
arguably.
like, okay, I wish you didn't do this, because if you didn't phase out, we'd have a broader constituency, and there's some other, horizontal symmetry reasons for why you don't want to do that. But whatever. The big thing is, don't phase it in, because if you phase it in, you're going to starve poor people. Why would you do that? And they don't phase it in. And they're the only people in the game right now who have a welfare state expansion program that doesn't phase in, which shows it's possible.
Kudos to you guys.
Bennett and Brown, these are mainstream senators.
Is this Triple P endorsed?
I have endorsed the general idea of child allowance. Like I said, I don't like the phase out. There's some administrative things, but like the distributive design, where there's no phase in, it's not a trapezoid. that is a watershed in democratic
Yeah.
thinking back to, the pre-1980s. That is obviously the path that needs to go forward.
Cool.
I have an idea that integrates the child allowance, and I may write about this soon. A program that I think would be genius for a candidate to pick up, and maybe a candidate will, because there's going to be 30 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to float this and see if I can get someone on board.
Yeah.
I call it the Family Fun Pack.
I love that.
I think it's great, but other people are like, no, that's terrible. You can't call it the Family Fun Pack.
I really like it.
Because that's what they used to call. That's what they used to call, like, when I used to work at the Texas Rangers Stadium, like 4 tickets, 4 sodas, and 4 hot dogs. Like, they would sell a bundle, and you
Yeah.
could pay like $100 for it, and it was
Pack.
called the Family Fun Pack. And I was like, this is great, right? And
I really like it.
my family fun pack, you have the child allowance where you get paid $3,600 a year, $300 a month for every child you have. But you also get paid leave for the children you have. You also get a maternity grant, which is, basically a few $100s whenever you're about to give birth.
Love it.
Sometimes implement in the form of a baby box.
Excellent.
You get
Everybody loves subscription boxes.
I know Finland was
yeah.
Finland was been
Finland
doing
was way
baby
ahead of the
boxes for like
curve.
100 years, and
They
everyone
were
just loves them.
Super ahead of the curve.
I went to their national museum while I was there, and they had a baby box in it from like the 70s.
Oh.
And okay, so you got maternity grant, paid leave,
The child allowance.
child allowance, child care. We already have free education for K through 12.
Yeah.
How about free school lunch while they're at school?
Yeah.
We already do that for a lot of kids anyways.
No reason we can't do that.
And how about free health care for kids?
There we go.
I mean, we should have free health care for everyone, but at least kids.
You know what's going to be great about you proposing the Family Fun Pack is like politicians like Cruz being like, this won't be fun for my family. I'll get taxed.
If you think paying taxes is fun,
My family will not have fun with this pack.
but it's like
That's
that
really
would
funny.
make family life so much easier.
Yes, it
Because
would.
I mean,
Yes,
think
it
about
would.
all the money you would save. You're no longer having to pay a premium for your kids' child care.
Yeah.
That's a lot right there. That's like thousands of dollars a year right there. Plus you're getting cash of $3,600 a year.
Yeah.
Plus you don't have to pay for lunch anymore.
Yeah.
Plus you're basically not paying for childcare. You might have a nominal fee. I think in some countries they'll make you pay like, up to $300 a month or something if you make a lot of money, but for, depend on how you structure it. But it's like, there you go. You don't have to pay childcare. You don't have to pay healthcare. You don't have to pay school lunch. You're getting paid lead, and you're getting paid a few $100s a month. The Family Fun Pack, and I should note, that's, basically my version of the package you get in the Nordic countries. So it's not a crazy idea.
Beat the trap with the pack.
There you go. Family Fun Pack.